Hey everyone, today I wanted to show you this new Milwaukee tool that I got. This is their new M12 fuel right angle die grinder. So I'm going to bring you in close, we're going to go through it, and I'll tell you what I think. Let's get started. Alright, so let's dive right in. This is the bag it came in, and I'm pretty much just going to open this and kind of show you how it came, and you know, I'll tell you why I'm going to show you this case in a minute. But if you open it, you have your case, you have your die grinder, 2 batteries and a charger. Obviously, you can buy it with just a tool only, or you can buy it with the tool, 2 batteries and the charger, you know, and it'll come with this case. If you get the tool by itself, I'm sure it would probably just come in a box. That's how I've gotten some of their other stuff before. And then they'll probably send you the literature and the wrenches. But I wanted to show you this case because I've gotten these soft cases in the past, and they really haven't had any rhyme or reason to how things fit in there. I've kind of explained it in some of my other videos that I've done where I've gotten these soft cases. But this one came pretty well packed. As far as if I wanted to take this somewhere, this would be a good case to take for the most part, just because everything kind of has a place. So for instance, the die grinder fits right here. The 2 batteries have their own personal little hangers, and so does the charger. Obviously, the die grinder won't come with this Roloc quick attach system on there, but you know, it does fit otherwise. You know, I can move this charger cable kind of out of the way, and you know, you can, you know, use it from there. But this is pretty much how it will come if you get the kit, like I said, minus this, and they'll give you your literature up here telling you that's for the charger, that's for the die grinder. And you can see they do show a picture on here for a M12 inline. I don't think that's out yet, but they did put it on the packet there. And then they'll give you these 2 wrenches here, and the wrenches are so you can unlock the chuck on here and put different attachments in there, whatever you might need. So I'm just going to take it out from here, and I'm just going to set it out. So obviously you'll get 2 amp hour batteries with it, if you get the kit, and then, you know, from there you can choose to use bigger batteries if you want and put them in there, but we'll just use the 2 amp hour for now. All right, so my thoughts on the tool are that it, performance-wise, it does what you need it to do. It has enough power. You're not going to be disappointed when you're using it. It's going to be able to handle most of the tasks that you need it to do. It's not something that, if you were an extremely heavy user of it, I don't know if I would recommend it for you. But as far as being somebody that needs it occasionally, or if you were an auto mechanic, if you were a body person, you know, and you were in a shop, you might need this for specific reasons. It'd be a lot easier than hooking up the air and dragging the hose out if you just need to do something small. But if you were doing big areas and you needed more versatility as far as bigger attachments for sanding and stuff like that, this is not going to be for you. But for the average person and most professionals that need a right angle die grinder to do some tasks, metal prep and stuff like that, this is going to be a pretty good tool. So with the 3rd horsepower motor that's in here, does do a pretty good job. You can bog it out if you push too hard or whatever, but you know, you'd be overusing it at that point. The battery life's pretty good. It's not great, but it's not terrible either. You can, obviously, the best part about these is you can get bigger battery equals more runtime, and it's not really a big deal to put a 4 or 6 amp hour battery on here. Yeah, the 2 amp hour battery is really compact, and it runs for quite a while, but if you put the 4 amp hour on there, it runs even longer, and if you put the 6 amp hour, it's going to run even longer than that. So, you know, to each his own, but as far as battery life, it can be extended, and the 2 amp hour is pretty good on its own, and they give you 2 in the kit, so I think you'll be fine for most things. But for me, like, I have a 4 amp hour battery, and I plan to get more bigger ones, like a 6 amp hour and stuff like that. I have 3 4 amp hour batteries, 3 or 4 of them, but I have some that are in use elsewhere, and then I keep one in my toolbox all the time. So, you know, I have plenty of battery to do what I need to do, and I'm not an extremely heavy user of it. So to go over versatility, this tool is very versatile if you look at it from the perspective that you can take this anywhere. So I can take this tool right here, I can walk out of my garage where I do have a small air compressor, but not one that's big enough to run a super powerful, you know, air die grinder, but I can take this tool, go anywhere around my yard, back to my shed, which, you know, I don't have any power back there, but I can take it back to my shed. I can do work out in my driveway, and I don't have to drag out the air hose, turn the compressor on, listen to the compressor. I just have these batteries, and I can do what I need to do. So for somebody that works on like a truck, that is a mobile technician of some sort, this is perfect. And most, you know, users of this tool will like the fact that you just have to use the batteries, especially if you're on the Milwaukee platform already with their batteries. This is a no-brainer. I think it's $179 for the tool only, and then $250 for the kit. So if you already had a bunch of batteries and you wanted to pay $179 for this, it's a no-brainer as far as versatility goes, and the fact that it is a nice battery unit. Okay, so let's go over some of the attachments for this. If you know anything about right angle grinders, die grinders, very common attachment is going to be this Roloc. This one, I got it off of Amazon. I can probably put a link in the description for it. This one is made by 3M. I'm not sure if they, you know, initially made the design. I'm going to assume so, but because they've trademarked the name Roloc. So this is theirs. It comes with this rubber piece, and then it comes with this attachment stem. So let me show you kind of how it goes on. I'm going to get the wrenches out. So they give you your 2 wrenches, and one will be for this black piece, and one's for the stem. All right, so a little struggle to get that out there, but basically what they do is they send you the actual rubbery piece here, and then they send you this little stem that you kind of just thread in there, and then you can tighten down with a wrench. They also give you another adapter. It looks like it says it fits a sander, so I don't have that. This little piece will go down through here, but I don't have that sander that they're referring to. I'm not sure exactly what that is, but they do give you that anyways. This is obviously the 3M one, and basically you just have these little threads in here, and they attach onto various different things. I have these surface prep pads. So another style of this that's not 3M is going to be this one. I got this little bundle here. It's got I'll just show you. It's got a bunch of sandpaper, different grades of sandpaper in it. So I think there's like 120 pieces in here. Basically, this is a non-3M one. So again, you get a stem, you get to screw it on. This little washer here is going to lock it down, but they send you this little foam pad to go on it. But this is hook and loop is what I was looking for. So this is a hook and loop one. This is, you know, kind of bulkier, and you know, but this would be good for what I need it for, is sanding. But this is hook and loop. attachment style, and then this is Roloc with the threaded piece in the center. So the hook and loop is, well, I got this, so basically you have this material here, which is soft like a felt, and this, which is kind of like a Velcro, and then you can stick them together and they hold on. And then this is kind of got a hook and loop here, and they give you this little foam piece, so when you attach the sanders, you can sand and, you know, not, you know, put too much pressure in one spot. So basically, this is a non-3M one of the attachment kind of things you can get. All right, so your most common is gonna be this Roloc. I'm gonna put that out of the way, and I'm gonna attach it. So I just slide it down in there, and then what I'll do is use that, and then we are going to attach it with the wrenches. Okay, so it's locked in place. We'll put our wrenches back, and then we'll show you the different Roloc disc that you can use. So once you have this on, they have these surface prep discs. These are 3M discs as well. They have different grades. So this is going to be super fine. This is medium, and then this is going to be your coarse one. I've used these a little bit, but you can get a box of them. I have a box of each of these, and I think there's like 20 of them in there. They're a little pricey, but they do serve a specific need. Most of the time people will use these for you know, metal prep. If you needed to remove paint off of something before you were going to weld it or something, one of these would take off a lot less material than this little mini flap wheel here. So there's 3 different grades. These that people use a lot, these are the most common ones. You just take them, put it right on the end, twist it, and it's ready to go to work. So I'll show you these in action later. Next up, these are probably less common. This is not really made by 3M. This is probably some Chinese stuff, but I got this off Amazon as well. These are mini flap wheels, and I am so glad that I found these. I wasn't really sure that they made them, but I looked them up and stuff like that. So I got a pack of these, a big bundle of these. I think there was 30, and there was 3 different grit types. And basically these are just like the same thing you'd put on a big grinder. That's what this is, but just in mini form. So this is a 2-inch disc instead of like a 4.5 or a 5. And they came in 3 different grit sizes as well. So I'll show you these a little bit later too. This is the bag of them right here. Next up, this is super popular right here. These are made by 3M as well. So these are their Roloc Bristle Discs. And so this is their 120 grade, meaning the white's the softest. I'm pretty sure the yellow or the green, I think the green is next. So soft, medium, more coarse, and these have these little bristles. And what you do is you take them, just again, the little Roloc, this is why everybody loves it. Take it, twist them on, and then you're ready to go. So how these work is these little bristles will fan out depending on the speed of the motor. And people will use this for gasket removal primarily. I don't really know what else you would use it for besides. I have seen someone use it to remove paint on a body panel where it was kind of an uneven surface, and this would allow you to get into those kind of weird areas. So you could use it for that. But those are the different attachments that I have for it. I do have some wire brushes that you could put in there, but you can put them in here, or you could just put them in. I could put them in my regular drill and use those, but wire brushes. So next, I'm gonna show you how I would use this and do a few things that I would do with it for my purposes. Obviously, I don't have a head gasket or a valve cover gasket or anything like that I need to remove at the time. Right now, I don't have any spares or anything like that, but this is obviously a perfect tool for that. But I will show you some other things that you can do with it, and you know, that way you can see. All right, so use number one that I would use it for is, I've done this in the past where I need to do something to my trailer and I need to remove the powder coat or the paint prior to welding. And I just need to remove the paint, and then I don't need to dig into the actual metal surface deeply because I'm just removing the paint so I can have a clean surface to weld. So we'll go through the discs here and kind of show you how they perform as far as the different grades. So like I said, this is going to be their super fine, so let's use that. All right, so as you can see, I get a nice shiny surface, but it's not cutting too much. So any of these deeper rust marks, they're not really going anywhere without an extended use. So we'll switch from the superfine to the medium. All right, so let's do the medium. Okay, so as you can see, in a similar amount of time, we have, it's kind of hard for this to show up on camera, but basically what I'm feeling here is the paint has come off, but these rust spots are still kind of high. Here, the paint has come off and it's actually started to smooth the rust spots that are here. But again, we've removed the paint and we haven't really taken off a whole lot of metal. So that was the medium. This is going to be the coarse. Now this one has been used a little bit. Let's see how it does. So that was the coarse, and again, the surface the paint has been removed and the rust spots are flat. So as you can see, that's how the surface prep discs work as far as exactly what they're called. They call them surface prep discs for a reason. They prep the surface before you weld, you paint, whatever. Obviously it's going to work better on a smooth surface because of the way it's designed. This is basically just like a Brillo pad, but in small disc form. So I will try one of these flap wheels on here to kind of show you how that works on metal. So if you can see that right there, what I did with the flap wheel, you can tell, you see here, I'm trying to get the right angle, I don't know if it'll show up, but this is really shiny and smooth, not very many marks in it. Obviously you get more marks as you go higher up. I'm gonna hope that this shows up on camera as far as the reflection from the light, but if you can see here, this, you see all the marks, this is kind of rough as far as all of the scrape marks, the sanding marks. This is super polished. This has a little bit more marks, but it's still pretty polished, and we go up in steps from the super fine, medium, and coarse. And then once you go up here, you can start to see them more, and then this, but this is still smooth, extra smooth, and this is still rough. So let's see if you can hear it. Hear that one? And that's just my finger rubbing up against all the cut marks. But this the flap wheel with this is like 80 grit, I believe. It did grind down the rust spots easier and quicker, but it probably did take off more metal. You know, obviously it's not more metal than it needed to be with all the rust and all that's on this, but that's just kind of show you the difference of how those would work. But the flap wheel for me has a different purpose, which I will show you in a minute. But I did want to show you one more thing, which is these bristle discs, to kind of show you that, you know, primarily these are probably going to be best used on, you know, for gaskets and stuff like that. But you can use them on paint. You know, it's just one of those things where they just kind of beats them up faster. So I use this to kind of clean up a caliper I was working on, and you can see I didn't even use it that long, and it's kind of falling apart, the soft one, which is kind of what it's designed to do because it's not supposed to be super rough. But let's show you this medium one on here. So that was medium. We're only on setting 2. We're not even at setting 4, which is the high speed. But as you can see, it's kind of done the same thing and takes off paint and stuff like that. Next, I'm going to show you what I would use, why I got the flap discs, and show you my primary use for those. All right, so next up, this would be a scenario for me to show you the difference between the Roloc discs and the flap wheels as far as the cost versus the longevity, because these Roloc discs, they do work really well, but obviously this is a degradable product just like these are, but these are going to degrade a lot faster than this would, depending on what you're digging into. So for instance, this is a hedge trimmer, and what I'm attempting to do is to sharpen the surfaces here. And you can use the Roloc. I have used the Roloc to do this, the surface prep disc, but what happened was I went through almost 2 discs just to sharpen this whole hedge trimmer. I didn't sharpen this exact one. I sharpened one similar to it, where I needed to sharpen 1, 2, 3, 4 sides. On this one, I would only sharpen 2 sides, just this one and this one that has the actual cutters on there. But different hedge trimmers are different, but that's just regardless of the point. I couldn't get through a whole one with one of these, which is expensive. I'll put the cost on the screen of one of these out of the box of 20 or 25 versus one of these here, and this is going to last a whole lot longer while you're working to do something like this. So if you worked in a small equipment repair shop or something like that, or you're me and you have I've got 3 pairs of hedge trimmers, and so to go through 6 discs just to sharpen those, I can do, I haven't had this long enough to tell you how many I can do, but I know what I've done in the past is use my big angle grinder, my big grinder, that's got a 4.5 inch disc on there to sharpen this, and you got to kind of turn your body every which way, and it's just not as compact and not as adjustable as far as speed goes, because the speed for the big grinder is just all out. It's a Milwaukee M18 grinder, and it's just 0 to 100. There's no in between. There's no controlling your RPMs like there is with this. And for a situation like this, you don't need full out. You don't want to just blast through the metal. That's just not what you want to do. So to be able to have a 2-inch size of this instead of a 4.5 inch, you're able to get in here and be more versatile. So let me show you how you would kind of use this in this situation. So we're gonna start and sharpen some of these. So it might be an awkward position to film, but so, 'cause, 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 ' So just something simple like that, where, you know, this is going to last a tremendous amount of time longer than one of these surface prep discs. These will work, and all you're doing is for this situation, I just need to take off a little bit of metal to put the edge back on, and that's it. So the mini flap wheel is much more accommodating as compared to a big grinder. So there you have it for that. One other thing I'd like to kind of point out is the ability to get this in somewhere more compact, inside of a vehicle, inside of something, where instead of holding a big grinder like this, you can just hold this little tiny little thing like this, and you can go to work on what you need to and go from there. They do have cutting discs for this, like metal cutting discs that you can attach, and this is obviously a good attachment for that as well. But, you know, to each his own. For what you're using it for, that's something you need to evaluate yourself. All right, so let's go through a brief recap. I showed you the tool, told you some things about it, showed you it in action a little bit. So in the end, who is going to use something like this? A lot of people. This is a good tool for various different things, and, you know, if you weren't in need of a big grinder like the 4.5, 5-inch grinders that you put metal cutting discs and flap discs and all that stuff on, this is a good piece, and it's going to cost substantially less. Yes, it's going to be a little less productive in some ways, but it's also very versatile with its size. So people that maybe I'm not going to really use body work as an example, but you could, or people that do small engine repair, welding, you know, mobile mechanic, actual mechanic in a shop, you know, anybody that's on the go as far as, you know, having this in their truck and they do service calls of some sort and you need something like this. There's many different attachments. There's the surface prep discs, sandpaper, flap wheel discs, cutting discs, the Roloc Bristle Discs. There's all kinds of things for this, and that fit in this little 1/4-inch chuck, and you can go from there. So in conclusion, I've been very happy with it. It's been something that I was excited to get. I've always wanted one that was, you know, air powered, but I just don't have the kind of compressor for that. And I didn't really need an air one as far as needing to use it for a super long time. So this fits my situation perfectly. I can have it in my toolbox in my garage. If I need to go walk out in my driveway or walk into the backyard and do something, it's just super quick and easy, and boom, I can just move on with what I need to do. And I already have a bunch of the Milwaukee stuff, so this fits perfect for me. If you have any questions, put them in a comment, let me know. I'm gonna put some links in the description to where I found some of this stuff. I pretty much bought all of the attachments off Amazon. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I bought all of them off Amazon. I bought the actual tool from toolnut.com. And yeah, so I'll leave the links down in the description if you wanted to kind of see what I got. There's obviously, if you go on Amazon, there's a ton of stuff, you know, that's coming from China or wherever. The 3M stuff probably didn't. I don't know if it's made in America or whatever, probably not. But needless to say, I'll put all that down there. If you have any questions, let me know. I can try and answer them, something I didn't get to or whatever. But overall, this has been a good tool for me. I think Milwaukee did a good job as far as designing it and getting it out, and, you know, the versatility of it for most end users. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, hit the thumbs up, consider subscribing. I'm going to have some more content coming out as far as tool reviews and other things that's to come.